President Rouhani, saying he's determined to develop the country's missile program. So while he's clearly playing to domestic audience, how will comments like this go down in the United States?
Well, it's obvious that the hawkish stance or the hardline stance, I would say, that President Trump has taken since he took office, even before that, during his campaign time, election campaign time, has definitely echoed back in Tehran. And we see the rift that was between the Iranian moderates, someone like President Rouhani, and the hardliners headed by the supreme leader. Basically, that gap is closing more in Tehran. And we see a more unified hardline voice, especially when it has to do with military and other regional activities of Iran. We see that coming from Tehran. I see that as a reaction, basically, to the hardline that's coming from Washington, pulling out of the nuclear deal, reimpositioning of sanctions by this administration, and basically continuing to put pressure on Iran from all fronts.
And meanwhile, if we look at the EU stance in this, it's found a way to bypass US sanctions to keep Iran from quitting that nuclear deal you were just mentioning. So this is clearly important for EU trade. But what kind of impact will this have on Iran?
It is definitely very important. The Iranians are basically counting entirely on the European Union and European companies to get the economic benefits that were promised to them through the nuclear deal. And we saw that there's a very strong political message coming from the European Union, from the main European companies, the most powerful ones like UK, France, and Germany. But when it comes to reality and the economic benefits that the Iranians are expecting, it hasn't really been as much and as strong as the Iranians expected. So far, the purpose vehicle that the European Union has set up, it took months for it to get started. It seems like that it's going to be dedicated to humanitarian, like food and medicine for the beginning. And it's just, I think Iranians have been impatient to see the kind of benefits that they wanted and the continuation from the European Union. So politically, it's a very strong message, but I think economically and in reality, Iranians are expecting more from major European companies, who some of them have pulled out of Iran due to US pressure.